Hey, everybody, we'd like to welcome you to a special live pregame Picks from Joe's. There we go. My wife hates that bottle opener. She tried to hide it once, didn't get it done. Joining today, special fill-in, King. King and I both had some work issues this week that hijacked Thursday night, even Friday. King's doing a little traveling with work again today, so nice enough to fill in for King today. Making a second consecutive appearance. Oklahoma. Mike, Bud, what's the color of that shirt? I'm just checking.
It's SMU red. Look, I just woke up about a half hour ago. Okay, that's not fair.
There you go. Yeah, that's obviously, staying up late to watch that Temple SMU game is, that'll do weird things to you, I'm sure.
Yeah, like make you drink a
lot. So I was not up late watching that football game. So we've got my second on Amber. Let's be specific. And I think Oklahoma's rocking what, a little Powerade or something, trying to wake up.
Yeah, the Powerade's gone. We've moved on to 7-Up. Let's call it 7-Up.
Ah, there we go. So, yes, 7-Up. He's drinking 7-Up. So, all right. Big day in Stillwater. Obviously, there's already been a little bit. So we, real quick, again, just kind of try to stay with our format. The least interesting game today. And thank God, this is one of those days where we thank God for the Longhorn Network. Because that actually means we will not be subjected to watching what is likely going to be a really ugly football game. All right, Kansas at Texas tonight at 8 o'clock. Who really? It's that game has just got shit written all over it. Don't you think?
Who the hell knows? I took Texas last week and they shit the bed. I don't know. Charlie Strong doesn't even know what they're going to get week to week. They might lose today. Kansas is terrible, but they might still shit the bed.
Well, let me tell you something. You get a little bit of a pass for your pick last week because, as we discovered, you actually never watched a second of the 2011 game.
That is true.
Which would have prepared you for anticipating a night game in Ames on Halloween of all nights. That's asking for weird shit. All right.
That's true.
So you get a pass on that when you get a pass.
Okay.
Right, that's you got it. If you're not an experienced Iowa State night game hater, I wouldn't anticipate. Like King hates night games in Ames. Surprise. So we'll cut you a little slack on that one. But yeah, this is honest to goodness. And I had a little exchange with it's either Burn Orange Nation or I think it was Burn Orange Nation.
I hate those guys. Barking Carnival.
I had an exchange with them today, and I was like, well, thank heavens, not very many people sitting, and they had a great response, which was like, oh right, lots of people would have been tuning in if this was on ABC instead of watching Alabama and LSU. And my response was, well, I kind of have this sickness that I actually would have tuned in to watch that game instead of Alabama LSU. So,
yeah, I do too. I have a Big 12 addiction. It's kind of weird. Yeah. It's not healthy for sure.
And two, on the off chance that Kansas really does something, I'm all for dumpster fire. So that's always enjoyable. So that's by far and away the least interesting game. That's useless, and nobody's going to be able to. Virtually nobody that cares would really be able to watch much of it anyway. That should have been the least interesting, and then turned out to be quite interesting, way more interesting than Baylor would have liked, I'm sure, was Thursday night. Baylor taking a trip up to Manhattan, and the Purple Wizard was on full display as Baylor got a taste of that running quarterback crap like we did. It's like, it's coming. You can't stop it. I think Baylor in the first half. I'm trying to. Somebody threw out a tweet or something about Baylor in the first half was had like 3 minutes of possession or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but screw them. They don't play anybody. Art Briles is an asshole. Like, they get no credit for me for anything. They could cure cancer in Waco, and I still wouldn't give them credit.
There you go. Well, you are definitely in that moment channeling King perfectly. He's driven through Waco a bazillion times with work, hates it every time. And I'm telling you right now, honest to goodness, don't like Baylor. Look, I give the coach credit. If you just success of the program, has Briles done something? Absolutely. But I don't think I'm going to like how they've done it. I'm with a lot of people. I think there's stuff going on that's going to come out at some point, and they'll get blown up. Briles is known for having dirty players on defense, especially.
He encourages that. He lets them be animals.
Right.
They're so gross.
So, you know what? Fuck Baylor. That's a good time.
Absolutely.
There we go. Then, here comes the wide receiver pass, and that's got to be pass interference. Are you kidding me?
We're watching West Virginia, Texas Tech. If you want to follow along at home.
Yeah, well, that's what we both got that on. Oh, here's the flag. So maybe they did throw the flag, but Texas Tech and West Virginia, relatively speaking, are locked in a defensive battle here in the first half. Tied up 17-all. Both teams have had gift interceptions. Mahomes threw a horrible interception. Did you happen to see the one, or did you tune in after that, where Mahomes threw an interception down right on the goal line, West Virginia goal line?
No, really?
Oh, my God, they were driving. He threw the ball into the middle of 3 West Virginia defenders. It's like, what were you looking at? It's like he had my eyes or something. What?
Oh, that's not good.
What do we got here? We got a flag. There's a little over 7 minutes left. Yeah, pass interference. Tech on a wide receiver pass. They threw that lateral out to the side, and then the guy reared back and chucked it. So 17-17, and West Virginia's going to have a 1st and 10 after the 15-yard penalty. So right now, not the greatest game, but it's competitive, so it's been somewhat interesting. And then what else? I feel like am I missing a game? I feel like I'm missing a game. We had Kansas, Texas. We had Baylor, K-State. We got Iowa State, OU. Now that's our transitive property game of the week, people. Okay?
There's a transitive property game of the week on Picks from Joe's?
I guess it's a new thing. We just started it. There you go. You're part of the inaugural transitive properties game of the week from Picks from Joe's. Iowa State's in Norman, and there's, this is going to – I don't know what to say, because Iowa State blows out Texas. Texas handled quite easily OU. Is there anybody on the planet that doesn't think OU is just going to run up and down the field on Iowa State?
No. They're starting to really worry me that they're going to end up backing into the Big 12 title. They really look good.
I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you on that, man. I'm with you.
It's the most OU Sooner Magic bullshit ever that they're going to end up backing into it, but I just feel like they're going to end up backing into it. Like, we're going to beat TCU today and Baylor, and we're still going to lose.
Well, and I'll tell you what, this, and all fake sports hate trolling aside, this really could, if the football gods are in any way really interested in this, can you imagine anything more volatile than the Big 12 title coming down to that last Friday, Saturday?
No, somebody in Stillwater is going to have to let me sleep on their couch if it does come down to that, because there's nothing that's going to keep me out of Stillwater for that.
Oh, I don't know if I could end up, I don't know, I could be divorced if it does. That was I've already put it on. I said, look, don't plan anything that Saturday.
No.
It's like today. What do I find out? I find out we have some kind of a social get together. I already texted the husband, who's not a big football fan. He's an English guy, really kind of quirky, but very funny. And he's more into like golf, tennis, and soccer. And he watches a lot of cricket. He was a good athlete when he was younger. And I already texted him and said, dude, huge football game. You better have Fox working on your cable box when I get over to your house.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because of course we have to go over there at the worst. Well, if we do it at halftime, that's not bad. I may have to put a rule in place that no social plan traveling till
halftime.
Yeah.
You better have the route Google mapped out too, so you know how much time it's going to take.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's only going to take us. It's only going to take us about 5 minutes to get to their house. They're not that far away, which is the other good thing because they like their wine, and you always tend to get a little overserved over there. So we've had to come home afoot a few times.
Hey, afoot is always the way to go when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Don't drink and drive.
And so West Virginia scored, 4:40 left, 24-17. Mountaineers. That game's in Morgantown. So on to unquestionably not just the game of the day, but has to be the game of the season so far for the Big 12, which now every weekend there's going to be a new game of the season. TCU undefeated 8-0 coming to Stillwater to see the Cowboys undefeated 8-0. This is big.
Yeah.
This is a big game, and I feel there's a part of me that feels like this is sort of, I don't want to say, but it's kind of like this is the season for OSU. Then there's a part of me that says, go ahead.
TCU scares me more than Baylor does.
I mean, my only thing here is, look, TCU is a good team. There's definitely a shot of losing the game as well as winning the game. But if there's a loss, this is the thing that kind of, either way, loss or win, the thing that scares me even more is next Saturday's game. Everybody know where we're going next Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Especially if we win this game. Guess where we're going next Saturday?
That's the problem with OSU fans. Like, even if we win today, everybody's just going to be pissed because everybody's going to assume we're going to lose next week. Like, if we win today, I guarantee you half of Oklahoma State Twitter is going to go, great, now we're screwed next week for sure. So
oh no, this is a big deal, and of course we've got, it's like we have some good and we have some bad. Jimmy Bean is Ogba's partner in crime is going to be out.
Okay.
We don't know about Lampkin and Peterson. Who knows? Ogba, though, on the other hand, he might eat
this week
because he got the major diss, and I don't know what the Lombardi people are smoking or watching because he got left off the Lombardi finalist list. And even the game day crowd today, did you hear it?
Nope.
You were still sleeping.
Still sleeping it off.
The game day crowd actually dogged the Lombardi committee. Actually said, "What are they watching? Have they been watching football?"
Good.
Leaving him off the list. So, I mean, I'll ask this: is it that big of a snub that he got left off? Is it that big of a deal? Is that possible?
When you compare it to everyone else that is on that list. Absolutely. Ohio State's Joey Bosa has 1.5 sacks, and he's on the list.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah, the only thing Right. The only thing worse would have been if Sean Oakman was on that list. Then we could have really lost our minds.
What's funny is, as much as I hate Baylor, my best friend is a Baylor fan and a Baylor alum. And we can't really watch football together because we always end up talking shit about each other's teams, and we know it. But he hates Sean Oakman. Like, even the Baylor guy hates Sean Oakman. He only gets credit because he's 6'11" or whatever, and he looks like a power forward. He's the most overrated defensive end in the country.
Right. That one meme made a guy's career.
Right. He's a spare.
Yeah.
He's big.
So yeah, Agba, you've got to hope that Agba honestly is going to take so much motivation out of this that he'll probably single-handedly eat half the TCU. I just said Texas Tech, half the TCU offense. But it's going to be interesting to see who plays on the other side because supposedly they've got a couple of guys that are definitely worthy on the other side. So that'll be interesting to see. It's going to be very, very interesting to see when and where Raymond Taylor gets in the game.
Yes.
We actually did have a couple of there have been several rumors floating around this week. But we did have one rumor out there that he might start. I'd be kind of surprised at that 1 week to the next, but I think you might see him get in the rotation second as opposed to third. There was a kind of an interesting rumor that I won't go into any detail about, but we did have a pretty interesting rumor about who's actually calling plays.
That is always the rumor. I don't care, At this point, I have come full circle in Mike Yursich or whatever. I think he's actually done a really good job with the pieces he's been given to work with. If you would ask me this time last year, obviously I wanted him gone, but we lost 5 games by 21 points or more in a row. So, is there a chance Gundy's calling plays? Absolutely. I wouldn't rule it out. I'd be interested to know. I think this is year 3 for Mike, isn't it? It should be contract extension times. He should be locked up already if he's coming back.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. This is, I think it was a 3-year deal.
Uh-huh.
So I'm sure if somebody out there on Twitter, knows the detail, it'd probably be pretty easy to figure out. But there, one of 4 different people potentially calling plays. But I'll say this, and I said it in my after further review post for the Tech game. I'm like you. I've sort of come full circle with him, only because we've seen things. All right, the Baylor game 2013.
Right.
Okay, just ridiculous. What a ridiculous game plan that just absolutely ran them off the field. Never mind, our defense completely shut their offense down.
Uh-huh.
Just everything, the quarterback was hot, and the play calls were tremendous. I thought the switch to Walsh, to me, the offense was coming back. The offense was doing okay. They sputtered to start the second half when the defense was obviously shutting Tech down in that third quarter. That switch to Walsh was genius. That was genius. Whoever decided to just in that moment say, you know what, screw it. Run him out there and let's start running that just run the ball zone read stuff. That was just a genius move.
I really think that's, just my opinion, obviously, but I really think that's the offensive coordinator. Because we have a head coach who, I think, if you followed this team throughout his whole tenure, this is the same guy who started Alex Cate over Brandon Whedon because he didn't practice the right way. Right. So we're saying this guy is going to put the backup quarterback in the fourth quarter? I don't think so. Like, we're getting too adventurous and too creative and too off balance for this to be Mike Gundy. I feel like if it was Mike Gundy calling plays, we would be lined up in the I formation with 2 tight ends. like Barry Sanders is in the backfield or something, and Pat Jones is still running the team.
Yeah, and that, but the interesting thing here, and this is something I've trumpeted a lot of other people have too, that it is clear that it's Gundy's got his hands on the throttle, because he's the one giving the okay to the game plan. I mean, it came out.
Absolutely. I think Gundy's absolutely in control of the game plan. I mean, nothing happens without him, but I don't think he's the guy coming up with these creative plays.
Right. No, I'm with you on that, but I thought it was very interesting how open Yurcich was about saying, that Gundy said, call the game normal, which in Yurcich's terms said that meant not conservative.
Right.
And that Gundy very openly came out and said he gave his approval for that pass play where Walsh hit Washington for that 75-yard catch and run.
That's an interesting point. I think it's probably, in a larger context, the play calling is probably a lot more collaborative than we all want to say. Just like during this lawsuit with Wickline, there's not just one guy calling plays. They all have input.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And I just think the interesting thing there, and this is what a lot of us, we don't take into account with the criticism of Yurcich, is you've got Gundy standing there going, nope, we're not going to run that play. We're going to, overtime bedlam last year, huge example. The Cactus Bowl last year, huge example.
Right.
Both cases where Gundy shut the deal down. No, not going to throw the ball. We're not going to do all the crazy stuff we did in the first half.
Right.
Because we're going to go conservative now. And that can work sometimes. And then there's obviously times when it backfires. But, hey, if he can let things fly like he did against Tech, this team, I don't know about you, this team's got a chance to kind of sneak down the stretch here and still kind of stay under the radar, honest to goodness.
Yeah, truthfully, I'm tired of being the cynical guy on the internet, so I actually think we have a very fair chance to go undefeated. If we win today, the sky's the limit. I think, like you said earlier, this is the season. This feels like the season. This is going to be such a test today that if we win today, really, I feel like that's it, almost. Because I'm genuinely not afraid of Baylor at all. I'm always afraid of OU, but it's in Stillwater. It'll be a night game. You got to think game day will be there. I guess Baylor TCU's the Friday before, so no reason game day won't be in Stillwater, I don't think, since they didn't come this week and they kind of screwed us.
Yeah. That would definitely. I don't know what other games. I obviously don't have the schedule in front of me. I don't know what other games are that weekend. I think it was. I thought Pistols Firing did a post on that, right? I think of our chances. They kind of highlighted the different Big 12 games hanging out there and what what they thought the chances were that game day might show up to one of those. Herb Street did, throw something out today that if. I think it was if OU wins today, which they likely will, that game day might be going to Baylor next week.
Who does Baylor have next week? OU?
OU, yep. OU
Okay.
at Baylor next week. So I don't know. I didn't see the tweet. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything about it. So. We'll see.
I think Baylor's going to win that game. Mike Stoops is an idiot. So
what did you think? Speak all that. What did you think of? Did you see the game on Thursday night at all?
Baylor, Kansas State.
Yeah.
Yeah, watched all of it.
What did you think of Stidham? I was on a plane, so I couldn't watch.
He's a beast. I sent you that tweet that I don't think the freshman theory works. He was awesome, and he probably only missed on 3 throws the whole night. They had about 6 drops that hit their receivers right in the hands. He looks NFL ready today. It was the most impressive debut I think I've ever seen.
Wow.
Truthfully, I hate them with a passion, but he scared the shit out of me.
But based on what I was seeing on Twitter, he's not really going to run with it much.
He can, but I don't think he's going to. Honestly, the thing that impressed me was he seemed to make in addition to making real good throws, he made really good decisions. There were times when you would see, like, he got sacked once or twice, and you would see him, like, in the grasp, and he went like this, like he was going to try to throw it away, and then he tucked it, and then just took the sack. Those kind of things. He didn't make too many dumb mistakes.
Yeah. So
he seems to, and if I was a Tech fan, I'd be pissed for letting that kid get away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So here we go. Today's game. What do you have that you're like really anxious to see? What are you really anxious to see OSU kind of not make the mistake doing? What are you really anxious to see OSU do really well at?
Not make the mistake doing. I want to see us. I don't want to see Boykin run wild. He really is the best player in the conference, I think, outside of maybe Corey Coleman, truthfully, at Baylor, or at OSU. I really want to see us keep him in the pocket and make get some pressure on him, but don't let him escape. Don't let him run crazy on us, because if we can't get some pressure on him, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
I want to see us do really well. Keep up that success we had running the ball. Like, I want to see some improvement. I want to see continued improvement in the running game. The offensive line is not a thing you fix overnight, and it's been bad for probably 2 years at least, truthfully. We were just good enough, I think, in 2013 to overcome it. I want to see continued week-to-week improvement in the running game from the offensive line in terms of them getting out there and not standing straight up and getting bowled over. They're like, we have a chance to get better, and I think that's important. So I want to see us run the ball against a team that's considered real. Even if they have had a lot of injuries, TCU's defense will always be respected, and so I want to see us run the ball.
Yeah. So the thing I'm looking for that us kind of not to make the big mistake with, and this goes a little bit along with what you were saying. It's not just focused on Boykin. It's that big play.
Right.
I just don't give up the 70-yard pass play, the 60-yard pass play.
But make them earn it.
Yeah, right. Make them take their time down the field. I know it gasses the defense, obviously, doing that, but just don't give up the easy scores. That's a thing which, then kind of goes along with offensively not, putting the ball on the ground or throwing a interception. Don't give TCU. Don't give them the easy scores, whether it's the big play or the short field. All right, number one.
Today we'll lose.
Yeah, exactly. The thing I want to see OSU do well, again, goes right along with what you were saying. I'm really, 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 really excited or anxious, whatever you want to call it, to see Raymond Taylor get the ball with Mason Rudolph in the game.
Yeah.
Okay? And you think about this, guys, you think about this out there. If OSU can find any consistent success running the ball, and we don't have to have guys ripping off 10 and 15-yard runs. Just rip off a 4 to 5 yard run, on that first down, because they so good they run the ball on first down too damn much. You got to have somebody who when you give them the ball, you're not going like this. You're actually, your eyes are open and you're like, oh, what's he going to do? Is he going to get away? And right now, Taylor feels like the only guy who has. I'll tell you, that touchdown run he had. I think I tweeted something out about it, or I posted. I can't remember. I posted something in the game thread last week about it. That touchdown run he had against Tech, the 28-yarder, is exactly the reason he should be carrying the ball more, than he is, whether he starts or not, whatever. Because if you saw that, how he had his hesitation in hitting the hole, but when he got the opening, the burst, the absolute burst he had, the 1 or 2 steps, and it was almost like he was at full speed. All right. To me, he reminds me, and I don't get crazy out there, he reminds me of Barry Sanders in this way. Sanders was by no means, just calm down. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Sanders was by no means a fast running back. I mean, as far as running back speed goes, he was average. It was the fact that he could go from first gear to his 4th gear, let's say, or if you think about it, Tyreek Hill had like a 6th gear. He could go literally from 1st to 4th in a matter of like 2 steps. You know, that's why those guys can be hard to deal with.
Yes.
Because the minute you give them an opening, bang, they're through it. Where you take Carson, even Rennie Childs, they don't have that burst. Childs is better at getting through a hole than Carson, okay, obviously. But you need a guy when you have an offensive line that is not going to open a huge gaping hole.
And the hole's not going to stay open either.
Exactly. The hole's not going to stay open. You need a guy that can watch, and the minute he sees that little crack of daylight, can hit it with speed. And Raymond Taylor, you know, I don't know about Jeff Carr. You know, we obviously haven't seen enough of him to know if he has that type of burst. But having a guy with that. What's that?
So he probably should have redshirted this year.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think so. I think they got plenty of guys that they could have run out there to return kicks. And you've obviously got Taylor and probably another guy or two out there that you could have done a red shirt with him. I agree with that 100%. I think this season for him is a little bit of a wasted season as far as did you need him to play. No. But anyway, that's the 2 things for me. I just want to see Ogba I want to see him dominate.
He's becoming one of my favorite players in Oklahoma State history. Like, for me, when I was in school, I mean, I just graduated 5 years ago or whatever, but my time in school, we had Des Bryant, and when we would be sitting in the stands, and we would be down, and we would just say, that's fine, because we have Des Bryant, and they don't. I feel that way about Ogba. Like when the other team has the ball, I say that's fine. We have Emmanuel Ogba, and they don't have the equivalent on the offensive side. Like he's that much better than whoever he's going against. Just like Dez was that much better than whatever corner he played. Like it didn't matter what corner Dez was going against, right? Because we had Dez and they didn't. We have Ogba and they don't.
Yeah,
that's how I feel, anyways.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Ogba's definitely, I mean, obviously my favorite because I got to watch him play is Barry, but he's on a whole different level.
I wasn't born yet, but go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I don't need to know that. So, it's hard for me to separate Whedon and Blackman.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like that's one thing. But Ogba's up there for me as one of my favorites. I hope he can create a lot of havoc today. Boone Pickett Stadium ought to be jam packed. Place ought to be extremely loud.
I wish. I hate that it's at 2:30. I wish it was a night game.
So that is your preference a night game?
Yes, because everybody drinks longer and yells louder. And then the weather gets, and especially once we get into November, the weather gets colder and the wind starts whipping around. We're used to it. They're not. Our home field advantage goes up at night.
Yeah, the Bedlam 2011.
Yes.
And Baylor 2013 are just two of my favorite. I obviously wasn't at the game in 2013, but just the atmosphere, you could see it. If you go back, watch the YouTube replays of either of those games, and just listen to how loud when Jamie Blatnick's running down the sideline with that Landry Jones fumble, you couldn't hear Dave Hunziker on the radio.
That's awesome.
Hearing because the crowd was so loud. And the Baylor game, I thought, actually sounded louder. So,
well, I don't know if you read it at the time, but Spencer Hall with Every Day Should Be Saturday, and like the managing editor here at SB Nation, he went to that game and he wrote about it and he reviewed it because he went to Baylor 2013. It's pretty heartwarming, you might say, to see how well we're perceived from outsiders.
Yeah,
it's we did good that game.
You should go find that article and throw the link back out there just for the hell of it.
Okay, I will.
So, just as we get ready to sign off, it's obviously a great day. It looks like the weather's beautiful in Stillwater this afternoon, so it should be a great afternoon for college football. 2:30 games actually are Gundy's favorite, I think, in the scheme of things. I was growing up, everything was a 1 or 1:30 kickoff. Everything. If it was a home game, it was a 1:30 kickoff. This was days
when you went there, right?
What was that?
I said the stadium didn't have lights when you went there, right?
No, stadium did not have lights. And actually, when I first started going to
games, for real.
Hang on now. When I first started going to games there, all right, there was there was still a track around the field, all right, and they still had wooden benches. So it was right after I started going to games, and that was the early 70s. And when I say early 70s, I'm talking like 71, right in there. When I'd been going for a couple of years when they upgraded the stadium, and you actually had, the benches went from wood to metal, and we actually had some seats because my parents both went to school there, and they bought season tickets and whatnot. But yeah, it was that was back in the day where the only night games we ever experienced was when we went on the road. We used to go every year. OSU had a series with Arkansas. And, of course, what a lot of people back then mistook this, but Arkansas's home field was in Fayetteville. Okay? Well, when they played the game against OSU, they played it at War Memorial in Little Rock.
Why would they do that? Because it's the only school in the state, or what?
No, I have no idea, but it was that was some good stuff. I actually went to a road game at Nebraska once. The people were actually very nice to us, except for the fact I sat right on the goal line where Charlie Weatherby fumbled on the 1-yard line. He was driving. We're like, that's it. We're going to upset. George Palmer was the fullback. We were running like a wishbone and veer type offense, and Charlie Weatherby fumbled the friggin' ball on the 1-yard line at Nebraska. About made me ill. But anyway, those were the days. So, look, everybody, enjoy. If you checked in here, this will be it. I'm not posting this live on the site. This was just to try to get a little pics from Joe's action in since we missed earlier in the week. Poklahoma, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
I had a blast today.
What's that?
I said I had a blast today. Every time you want me on, just let me know.
There we go. We do, just so people do understand, we do have some standards here at Picks from Joe's. So, we have Poklahoma on. There's been some chatter about Denise Lowry maybe coming on. I don't know about that.
She should. She's hot. Yeah, she knows her stuff too.
Yeah, we'll have to put that in front of the committee first.
Yeah, she's hot. Let her come on.
Yeah, there we go. So there's an official invitation. Denise can come on the show if she ever decides she wants to. So that's it, guys. Enjoy. Look forward to some live Poklahoma tweeting, because that'll always be fascinating during the game, depending on whether we're imploding or drinking too much Kool-Aid. Who knows? Everybody have a great day if you're traveling.
Drinking too much Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Kool-Aid. Yeah, a little too much Kool-Aid. Everybody have a great day. Travel safe. Enjoy the game, and go Pokes. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely. Go Pokes.